Dakota Industrial Commission hearing docket for November 16th. I am David Garner, hearing examiner for these hearings. We're at the hearing room for the Department of Mineral Resources, Oil and Gas Division, and it is 9 a.m. On the docket, the following matters will be continued or dismissed. Case number 30510, continued. Case number 30152, continued. Case number 30516, dismissed. Case number 30517, dismissed. Case number 30527, dismissed. Case number 30528, dismissed. Case number 30446, continued. Case number 30447, continued. Case number 30448, continued. The administrative docket starts on page 3 with case number 30520 and goes through case number 30531. These cases will be heard in the next room with Michael Zisch. Audio recordings of the cases in the administrative docket will be placed on the Oil and Gas website by the end of the week. If you wish to appear in one of the matters on the administrative docket, please appear in the next room. If there is opposition to the matter, it will be brought back into this hearing room to be heard, and your statements and evidence will be taken. We'll begin with case number 30510, application of Coda Resources Operating, LLC, for an order for the Fertile Valley Bakken Pool, Divide County, North Dakota, to create and establish an overlapping 2560-acre spacing unit comprised of sections 5, 6, 7, and 8, Township 160 North, Range 102 West, authorizing the drilling of a horizontal well on or near the section line between the existing spacing units of said proposed overlapping 2560-acre spacing unit. This case has been continued until the December hearings. That concludes our hearing for case number 30510. Case number 30511, application of EOG Resources, Inc. for an order amending the field rules for the Stanley Bakken Pool, Montreal County, North Dakota, so as to create and establish an overlapping 1920 acres spacing unit comprised of sections 17, 20, and 29, Township 155 North, Range 90 West, authorizing the drilling of a total not to exceed 3 wells on said proposed overlapping 1920 acre spacing unit. All interested parties, please come forward.
Thank you, Mr. Examiner. Lawrence Bender, P.O. Box 1855, Bismarck, North Dakota. And I'm appearing in case number 30511 on behalf of EOG Resources, Inc. We intend to call 2 witnesses in this matter. Both witnesses will be appearing by telephone. Ms. Anna Morgan will be offering some land testimony, and Mr. John Schmidt will be offering some geologic and engineering testimony. And they're both on the phone.
Ms. Morgan,
Good morning.
do you solemnly swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be true and correct to the best of your knowledge and belief?
Yes, I do.
Anna, by whom are you employed,
EOG Resources,
and in what capacity?
Land Advisor.
And in that capacity, have you testified before the commission previously?
Yes, I have.
Had your qualifications accepted as that of an expert?
Yes.
For the further testimony of this witness, that of an expert.
Motion granted.
Anna, let's go to the packet of exhibits for case 30511. Let's go to L1. Tell us what that is.
L1 is a regional location map which shows the boundary of the Stanley Bakken Pool within the state of North Dakota.
Okay, and L2.
L2 is a zoomed-in picture of the Stanley Bakken Pool with the outline of our requested 1,920-acre spacing unit outlined in red.
And L3.
L3 again shows the requested spacing unit. It shows EOG's leasehold and development in the area, and EOG's working interest within the unit is 78%.
And the request that EOG has made is to allow the drilling of up to 3 wells in this proposed 1920. The geologic and engineering witness is going to alter that request somewhat. Is that correct?
Yes, it is.
Okay, let's go to L4.
L4 shows the requested spacing unit along with all of the development in the area and all of the underlying spacing units. There are 640-acre, 1920, and 2560 spacing units underlying our request.
Okay. And Exhibit L5, can you tell us what that is? That's sort of a new exhibit. I don't know that I've seen anything quite like this before. Can you explain what it is?
Yeah, in previous hearings, we've been requested to provide information about which underlying spacing units we believe could be vacated upon approval of this, so we provided that information here.
Okay. I don't have any further questions for the land witness.
Any questions from the staff?
And on Exhibit L5, there's a couple of space units I just wanted to mention, and maybe you can follow up with what, if they should be terminated, and it may be that they shouldn't, but sections 8, 16, and 17 are currently in L-shape 1920. Do you know if that one should remain in place?
Possibly, we might drill additional wells in that 1920. We'll be reviewing our development plan as we go forward.
Okay, and then there's, oh wait, you do have it on there, my bad, it's a second in zone 20 there. And then there's one other 2560, 18, 19, 20, and 29.
And
Yeah.
the question is whether that should be dissolved, Mark?
Yeah,
Yeah, we need to keep that one in place. We might end up drilling in that unit.
I'll address that in my engineering exhibit, Mark.
okay, thank you.
That's
Mr. Schmidt,
yes, sir.
do you solemnly swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be true and correct to the best of your knowledge and belief?
Yes, sir.
John, by whom are you employed?
EOG Resources
In what
as a
capacity?
senior geological engineer.
And in that capacity, have you testified before the commission previously?
Yes, I have.
Had your qualifications accepted as that of an expert?
Yes, sir.
And offer the further testimony of this witness that of an expert.
Motion granted.
John, let's go to the next exhibit in the packet, Exhibit G1. Can you tell me what G1 is?
U1 is a Middle Bakken reservoir structure map showing the Middle Bakken is present, dipping to the southwest under this DSU at approximately 7,100 or 7,000 to 7,100 feet subsea TVD. The Burke 3-6 pilot hole is highlighted in red, and then that pilot hole is shown as the type log on the next exhibit, G2.
Okay, let's go to G2.
G2 just shows that Burke 3-16 pilot hole up at the northwest corner of the spacing, or next in the section 16 next to the spacing unit, and shows that the upper Bakken Shale, Middle Bakken, Lower Bakken, and Three Forks are all present in this area.
All right, let's go to the next exhibit then, E1. Tell us what E1 is.
E1 just shows what we're asking for in this, which is the 1920 consisting of sections 17, 20, and 29. We had changed our request to ask for only 2 Bakken wells instead of 3, and I'll show you why in the next exhibit.
All right, let's go to E2.
E2 then shows the DSU requested in green, and here we have 2 wells in red. The first well in red is a well we plan to drill, the Blueberry 2918-04H, and that is in the spacing unit that was that the question came up as to whether we were going to vacate 18, 19, 20, and 29. So we're keeping that one. So that's the far west red dashed line. And then we have another spacing unit that we're requesting in December consisting of sections 17, 18, 20, and 29. And that's going to be what the second or the middle red line would be drilled under. And at the time we had applied for the hearing for this case, 30511, we had considered putting that well, keeping that well and making that the third well inside this 1920, but we decided to go ahead and take the toe of that well out into section 18, so we're requesting a new spacing unit in December, and thus we're only asking for the 2 dashed green lines as Bakken wells in this case.
Okay, let's talk just a little bit, may not be totally relevant to this case, but perhaps somewhat. Let's talk a little bit about what the plans for development are if today's application is granted, as well as the application that's going to be heard in the regularly scheduled December hearings. And when I say plans for development, tell us a bit in terms of when you would set conductor pipe and spud the wells.
Yes, these wells have no federal nexus, no federal acreage in them, and we are currently drilling. We have a drilling rig moving in, rigging up on a 4-well package down in the Liberty Township along the lake, and after that, after they're finished drilling those wells, which we estimate to be mid-January, we were wanting to move to this pad. As I said, the spacing unit for the first well, the 04 well, the Blueberry 04 well, the spacing unit has been approved, and we're ready to submit that APD. We would like to be able to submit the other 2 APDs and have them approved as the spacing orders are approved, because that rig would be moving to that location in mid-January.
So is it a fair statement that you could be in a position to set conductor pipe and perhaps spud 2 of the wells before you have an application approved for the third well?
That is correct. For the middle well, yes.
Yes. Okay, let's go on then to Exhibit E3. Can you tell us what E3 is?
Yes, E3 just shows that cross-section that was in teal blue, showing kind of the relative positions along that cross-section of the wells, and noting that the 2 wells that we're requesting are kind of over in the snugged up in the east side of the spacing unit that we're requesting, the 1920, and then the other two wells that would be drilled at the same time off that pad are in the dashed red. And I guess one thing, we're at the current moment, our plan is to only drill one of the 2 green wells, the one all the way to the east. The second one would be infill potential in the future.
All right, then let's go to E4.
E4 shows our current wellbore diagram and design with plug and perf stages, with 75 to 80 stages on a 15,000-foot lateral as proposed.
And E5?
E5 then shows reservoir data properties with this 1920, approximately 48 million barrels in place. And then E6 shows our economics with cost on per well cost of $11.7 million, producing approximately 900,000 barrels, and severance tax of $3 million, operating cost of 3.6, with equals a return on investment of approximately 2.17, and undiscounted cash flow of $13 million.
And Exhibit GC1, is that a gas capture affidavit that the commission typically requires in these sorts of matters?
Yes, sir. Our gas gatherer is our own system, Pecan, and Octable is the processing plant just to the north.
In your opinion, will the proposed request, or will the request prevent waste, protect relative rights, and prevent the drilling of unnecessary wells?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Examiner, no further questions. Offer the exhibits.
The exhibits are admitted. Any questions from the staff?
John, looking at your E2,
Yes, sir.
I've got about 4 or 5 questions. I'm not sure where to start.
That's okay.
Let me start by asking this. What is your, I guess, ideal development in the area? Are you trying to equally space on the diagonal at this point, or are you transitioning more to vertical wells? I mean, what is the game plan here?
We are going to be able, we think we'll be able to cross under the existing diagonals. The well on the far right, the one that's approved, we think we're just going to take diagonally right up the middle, and it would have potential, and I think it's spaced for additional wells that could be put on either side of it. The middle red well, we're planning on going beneath the 3126 or 3120 well and over top of the Three Forks well, and then going in a diagonal fashion. And then this one is kind of just going, the one that we're going to drill in this DSU to start out with, it's going to go up the line and then have a little bit of a dog leg at the end to fill that white space.
I mean, I see all that, but what I'm asking is, what's your general preference for wells in the area? I mean, a lot of this was originally drilled on the diagonals, right? And you've come in with the Tetra style pieces to drill diagonal infills. And now this application, we're looking at some stand-up wells and some wells that go from stand-up to diagonal. I'm trying to get at what your overall intent is in the area, in the field.
I mean, we're trying to best fill in the white space, and in the past we hadn't been comfortable crossing well bores. Now we are, and from our engineering standpoint, our engineering team and our reservoir team and geology team, we feel that this is an efficient way to fill in the white space with the potential for the second well, if needed, would be the second green dash. So it's kind of a combination of both, but we're, like I said, we're feeling we have a new arrow in our quiver as far as crossing wells to fill in that white space.
Okay. Do you have what you feel is an idealized interwell distance determined for the area?
We're somewhere between 800 and 1,200 feet, depending upon the production profile, production, what we think the drainage is on the existing wells. Some of them are better than others, and this is our best shot at infilling that potential white space, what we call white space, undrained reservoir.
So, on the southern part of this, where you'd have, so in 29 and 27,
20. Oh,
yeah, 20 and 29, where you got those,
yeah.
what would equate to potentially 3 wells all in the east side. What would that interwell distance be as they're going north?
Approximately 800 to 1,000 feet, and we understand that at the heels of these, because of the convergence, we'll probably have to selectively, we might eliminate stages in certain wells, we might skip a stage in a well where they're close, but once they get to 1,000 feet, we think that's, once they get past 1,000 feet in a well distance, we think that's the normal spacing that we would have. So it's just maybe the first 1,000 feet of each lateral where we would have some stages selectively skipped or left out, so we don't have that interference where we're under 1,000 feet.
Okay. Well, I don't know if you can give me this, but what kind of interwell distance are you talking about when you get up into 17, and you're up on the diagonal for some of those?
We're at about 1,500 to 2,000 feet.
Okay.
So there would be, I mean, if as we go forward, there would be potential for infills in those areas where there's where the toes of the wells are spaced at 2,000 feet, or 1,500 to 2,000 feet.
So have you basically taken the whole area and kind of drawn up what your potential infill looks like in the general area?
Yes, we have. We've kind of been reworking that, and that's why we think we can eliminate some of the DSUs that Anna had in Exhibit 5. We're trying to go with longer laterals and fill in the white space and have the new option of crossing wellbores. And so with that, we have some new options, and that's why we think we can eliminate some of those DSUs.
Okay, so understanding that that's, you know, somewhat in a work in progress and subject to change to some extent, would you be willing to submit that overall broader spectrum example of what your overall plan is in the area around this?
Yeah, I think we could submit what we would plan to do in this Burke Township specifically.
I think that might help. I mean, in looking at this right now, I'm wondering why we're not, you know, continuing the pattern and drilling on the diagonal and getting over into 21 and 28 with some of these spacing units that are probably slated to be disbanded or dissolved. And so I think it will help the commission look at it and kind of determine whether it looks like what's being proposed seems to fit together well, or if we have
Sure.
more concerns or issues
No.
with it.
That I think that could be done. Can we have that as a confidential exhibit?
Don't think that's possible.
Okay. All right. Well, we will get you an exhibit number, I guess 6 or 7, showing that our E2A, showing kind of the Burke Township and how essentially the development to the east and to the north would happen.
Yeah, I think that's what we need.
Does that work?
Yeah.
This is Richard. That's Richard, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. I thought that's who I was talking to.
Yeah,
Okay.
John, this is Mark. When you submit that exhibit, obviously you're aware that it would be public information, so whatever you feel comfortable revealing is what we'd want to see.
Okay. No problem.
Lawrence, about
And that, I mean, that makes sense. It makes sense to me to see with us eliminating some of these things, how the new layout would interact with this DSU. So
Say, John, can you get that together by November 27th, or is that's 10 days from now, or can you do it quicker? What are your thoughts?
I can have it by tomorrow.
Okay. Let's give us till next week, Monday, which is in the event that I'm,
What's the date, do you know?
next Monday is the 20th.
The 29th?
The 20th,
20th.
November 20th.
Okay, the record will remain open till November 20th for submission of the new exhibit. If there's nothing else, that concludes our hearing for case number 30511. Case number 30512, application of Liberty Resources Management Company, LLC, for an order amending the field rules for the Kittleson Slough Bakken Pool, Montreal County, North Dakota, to create and establish a 1920-acre spacing unit comprised of Section 32, Township 158 North, Range 91 West, and Sections 5 and 8, Township 157 North, Range 91 West, authorizing the drilling, completing, and producing of a total not to exceed 8 wells on said proposed 1920-acre spacing unit. All interested parties, please come forward.
Having trouble with my call-in number. Not sure what's going on. I gotta call Lynn, see what's going on here. I don't know what's going on.
That's right. Why don't we just take a 5-minute break for now,
Okay.
and we'll go off the record.
Okay. Yeah, I can't even get a hold of my office now, so. Do you want them to talk, Liberty people to talk, or do you want, just make sure? Okay. So Liberty, can you hear us?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Stacy with Liberty.
Stacy just joined as well.
Okay.
Stacy, can you hear the line?
I can.
Okay. Let me try to explain what, go ahead, Mark.
So Stacy, can you hear me?
Stacy, can you hear Mark?
Oh, yes, sorry.
So you can hear me just fine?
It's pretty faint, but I can make it out.
Okay, and it may be that, Lawrence, you might have to repeat the question since you're closer to the phone.
Sure. You think it's just the phone that's picking it up? It's not coming? Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah. So it's,
I suppose the other option is I could go through all the witnesses and then I could take my phone up there and you could ask questions by handing the phone around.
I think,
Be any interference if they were listening live so they could hear the questions through the microphone? There's a huge delay on it.
Yeah.
and there won't be that many questions, and
Okay.
we can try that.
Let's try this.
A lot of improvising here, Stacy, but okay, I've handed out the exhibits, right?
Is it really? Okay, we are back on the record. It is
What's that?
9:44
I
a.m.
don't need to talk to her. Tell her we're on.
and we're proceeding with case number 30512. You can call your witnesses.
Okay, I don't think I've introduced myself yet, so
Okay.
if I could do that first. Mr. Examiner, my name is Lawrence Bender, P.O. Box 1855, Bismarck, North Dakota, and I'm appearing in case 30512 on behalf of Liberty Resources Management Company, LLC. And we intend to call 3 witnesses. First witness will be in the area of land, Dwayne Fadness. Second witness will be a geologic witness, Jeremy McChesney. And our third witness will be Ms. Stacy Strickland. And they are appearing by telephone. So first witness is Dwayne Fadness.
Dwayne Fadness. Mr. Fadness,
Yes, I'm here.
do you solemnly swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be true and correct to the best of your knowledge and belief?
I do.
Dwayne, we can hear you just really good here, but if you have trouble hearing us, please let us know, and we'll have to, I think you're picking up everything on my cell phone. So we'll try to do the best so that you can hear what we're asking. Dwayne, by whom are you employed?
Liberty Resources,
In what capacity?
Vice President of Land.
And in that capacity, have you testified before the commission previously?
I have.
And you've had your qualifications accepted as that of an expert?
Yes.
I'd offer the further testimony of this witness that of an expert.
Motion granted.
Dwayne, let's turn to the packet of exhibits for case 30512, and let's go to Exhibit L1. Can you tell me what Exhibit L1 is?
Exhibit L1 is a regional map indicating the area of interest for the proposed 1920-acre spacing unit in northwestern corner of Montreal County, which is the topic of this particular hearing this morning.
Okay, and then let's go to L2. Tell me what L2 is, please.
Exhibit L2 is a zoomed-in location map with the proposed spacing, and we've outlined a proposed spacing unit there in blue, which is our proposed 1,920-acre spacing for today's case. There's also a couple of previously spaced 1,280-acre units, which are outlined in dotted purple line there, and there's been a bit of activity in this particular area, which I think we'll go ahead and review. Section 5 and 8 of 15791 was previously spaced by EOG back in April of 2011, order number 16840. Then there's another 1,280-acre spacing unit in sections 32 and 33 of 15891, which was recently spaced by XCL Resources. Since that time, XCL Resources has been acquired by Phoenix, and Phoenix went in and spaced a stand-up 1920 just north of including section 33, and that's, we've indicated that as case number 30466, consisting of stand-up 1920 acre spacing unit consisting of section 21, 28, and 33 of 15891. All of that activity has left 3 sections available that have not been drilled, which is, again, the subject to this hearing this morning, section 32 of 15891 and sections 5 and 8 of 15791. So Liberty has made application for that spacing unit as of today, and it happens to sit just adjacent to and just a little bit southeast of a drilled and producing spacing unit, 1920 acre unit that Liberty drilled some time ago in sections 30 and 31 of 15891 and section 6 of 15791, which we call our Stanley North drill site spacing unit.
Okay, let's go to L3.
Exhibit L3 is our proposed spacing unit, again here today with our working interest detailed up in the north or northwest, or the upper left-hand corner here, sections 32, 8, and 5, wherein we depict that Liberty Resources owns 50.7% working interest in that 1920, and other working interest owners own the remaining 49.3%.
I have no questions for the land witness. No further questions.
Any questions from the staff?
Dwayne, this is Mark. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
So does Liberty suggest or recommend that the stand-up 1280 as 5 and 8 be terminated?
Correct.
And likewise, the laydown 1280 you described as sections 32 and 33?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Certainly.
Mr. McChesney,
Yes, I'm here.
do you solemnly swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be true and correct to the best of your knowledge and belief?
I do.
Jeremy, by whom are you employed?
Liberty Resources
In what capacity?
as a geoscience manager.
And in that capacity, have you testified before the commission previously?
Yes, I have.
Had your qualifications accepted as that of an expert?
Yes.
Offer the further testimony of this witness that of an expert.
Motion granted.
Jeremy, let's turn to the next exhibit in the packet, G1. Can you tell me what G1 is, please?
Yes, Exhibit G1 is a geologic structure map on the top of the Upper Bakken Shale with a 100-foot contour interval. The formation is continuous and dipping to the southwest in the proposed 1920-acre spacing unit outlined in blue. Middle Bakken wells on this map are colored in green, while Three Forks landed wells are colored in red. The type log for this area is denoted by the green dot on the map just to the west of the proposed 1920. It's a true oil-drilled Red River vertical test in the southwest quarter of Section 17 of 15791, and it's the subject of Exhibit G2.
Okay, let's go to G2.
Exhibit G2 is the Custer 14-17H well drilled in 1981 by True Oil. The log captures the base of the lodgepole through the Bakken and Upper Three Forks. The target zones for this proposed 1920 are called out for the Middle Bakken and the first bench of the Three Forks. Gamma rays in the far left track, followed by resistivity in the middle, then neutron porosity and density in the far right track.
No further questions.
Any questions from the staff? Ms. Strickland,
I'm here.
do you solemnly swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be true and correct to the best of your knowledge and belief?
I do.
Stacy, by whom are you employed?
Liberty Resources,
In what capacity?
Reserves and Data Analytics Manager, and I do have an engineering background.
And in that capacity, have you testified before the commission previously?
Yes, I have.
Had your qualifications accepted as that of an expert?
Yes.
Offer the further testimony of this witness that of an expert.
Motion granted.
Stacy, let's go to Exhibit E1. Identify Exhibit E1 and briefly discuss what's contained upon it.
Sure. Exhibit E1 illustrates the 3-mile wellbore that Liberty Resources would execute in order to safely drill and complete a Middle Bakken or a Three Forks landed wellbore. The lateral is cemented, and the expected completion design would include 40 to 45 frac stages and approximately 1,000 pounds per foot of proppant using a plug and perf technique.
Okay, and E2?
Exhibit E2 illustrates the proposed 1920 acre spacing unit in 15791, sections 5 and 8, and 15891, section 32. Up to 8 wells will be drilled, shown in dashed lines, from 2 potential pad locations shown in yellow boxes on the north end of the proposed 1920 acre spacing unit. The landing zone, Bakken only, or alternating Middle Bakken 3 Forks, yet to be determined, and it's currently being evaluated for this area.
And E3?
Exhibit E3 is an economic summary of a Liberty Resources operated Middle Bakken or Three Forks well. The general reservoir parameters are shown at the top. You see a formation thickness of 30 to 35 feet, porosity of 7.5% to 8.5%, and 35 to 40% water saturation. In the middle, describe the production profile. We show an initial oil rate of 675 barrels of oil per day, initial gas rate of 475 MCF per day, decline rates approximately 55%. We're using a B factor of 0.9 and a water cut of 70%. The GOR is projected to be approximately 700 for the first year, then ramping to 1,700 over the next year, and then we hold it flat. The resulting EUR for this profile is approximately 505 MBO and 610 MCF. And these parameters are based predominantly on the offset family DSU that Dwayne Fadness talked about in the land exhibit. For the economic projections, Liberty's drilling complete costs for a 3-mile lateral well are estimated at $9.05 million. Assuming an LOE cost of $6,000 per month fixed, $8 per barrel of oil variable, with a wellhead oil price of $75 per barrel flat and a gas price of $3 per MCF, that would result in an internal rate of return of 46% in an undiscounted payout of 16 months.
And Exhibit E4, can you tell me what that is?
That is our standard gas capture policy that will provide notification to our midstream services to make sure they're aware of our timing of development for this area.
And in your opinion, will the requested relief prevent waste, protect relative rights, and prevent the drilling of unnecessary wells?
Yes, it will.
No further questions. Offer the exhibits.
Exhibits are admitted. Any questions from the staff?
Stacy, on Exhibit E2, I believe you stated already, but you'll be alternating Middle Bakken and Three Forks across, correct?
I said exhibit.
E2.
Can you repeat that?
Yep. You will be alternating Middle Bakken and Three Forks wells in this area, correct?
Correct.
And will you be batch drilling and completing these wells?
Yes, the probably three.
You're cutting
Look
out.
at the east pad and drill the.
So
Can you hear me?
you're cutting out periodically. I don't know, did you move? You were doing, you could hear you just fine earlier, but have you moved further away from your phone or?
I have not moved. Y'all are cutting off as well.
Try
Yes,
to-
we would batch drill.
Okay, thanks.
Stacy, on Exhibit E3, your EUR for your gas, is that 610 MMCF?
Yes, correct.
All right, thank you.
That concludes our hearing for case number 30512. We will now jump ahead to the supplement.
Yeah, they'll be calling us, so.
Case number 30449. Application of Hunt Oil Company for an order amending the field rules for the Ross Bakken Pool, Montreal County, North Dakota, so as to create and establish an overlapping 2560-acre spacing unit comprised of sections 10, 11, 14, and 15, Township 156 North, Range 90 West, authorizing the drilling of a horizontal well on or near the section line between existing spacing units of said proposed overlapping 2560-acre spacing unit. All interested parties, please come forward.
Lawrence Bender, P.O. Box 1855, Bismarck, North Dakota, appearing in this matter on behalf of Hunt Oil Company. And we intend on calling three witnesses. Mr. Matt Bodley will be offering some land testimony. Mr. Joe Bauman. Mr. Joe Bauman will be offering some geologic testimony. And Ms. Emily Worth will be offering some engineering testimony. And looks like the phone is working again, and they're all on the phone.
Very good. Mr. Bodley,
Yes, sir.
do you solemnly swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury that the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be true and correct to the best of your knowledge and belief?
I do.
Matt, by whom are you employed?
Hunt Oil Company,
In what capacity?
regional land manager.
And in that capacity, have you testified before the commission previously?
Yes.
Had your qualifications accepted as that of an expert?
Yes.
Offer the further testimony of this witness that of an expert.
Motion granted.
Matt, let's turn to the packet of exhibits for this case. And let's, for its case 30449, and let's turn to Exhibit 1. Tell me what Exhibit 1 is, please.
Exhibit 1 is a regional location map showing Ross Field within Montreal County.
And Exhibit 2.
Exhibit 2 shows Hunt's existing 1280s in blue outline, and then the proposed overlapping 2560 in the red dashed outline with Hunt's working interest in each one of those.
Okay, and what's Hunt's working interest in the 2560?
Hunt's working interest in the 2560 would be 84.75%.
Okay, that's all the questions I have for the land witness.
Any questions from the staff? Mr. Bauman,
Yes.
do you solemnly swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be true and correct to the best of your knowledge and belief?
Yes.
Joe, by whom are you employed?
Hunt Oil Company,
In what capacity?
geologist.
And in that capacity, have you testified before the commission previously?
Yes, I have.
Had your qualifications accepted as that of an expert?
Yes.
Offer the further testimony of this witness that of an expert.
Motion granted.
Joe, let's turn to the next exhibit in the packet. It's been previously marked as Exhibit 3. Can you tell me what Exhibit 3 is?
Exhibit 3 is a structure map on top of the Bakken Formation over Ross Field. The field boundaries are delineated by the blue line, and the proposed 2560 is shaded in red. The Location of the type log for the next exhibit is identified by the red circle.
Okay, let's go to Exhibit 4.
Exhibit 4 is type log for this area. In track 1 is gamma ray. Track 2 are porosity logs. Track 3 are resistivity logs. The top and base of the Bakken Pool are identified by the thick black dashed line, with the upper and lower Bakken shale shaded gray, and our target interval, the middle Bakken, shaded in yellow.
No further questions of the geologic witness.
Any questions from the staff? Ms. Worth?
Yes.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be true and correct to the best of your knowledge and belief?
I do.
Emily, by whom are you employed?
Plant Oil Company,
In what capacity?
a reservoir engineer.
And in that capacity, have you testified before the commission previously?
Yes.
Had your qualifications accepted as that of an expert?
Yes.
Offer the further testimony of this witness that of an expert.
Motion granted.
Emily, let's go to Exhibit 5. Please tell me what Exhibit 5 is.
Exhibit 5 is the proposed development for the overlapping 2560 spacing unit. Shown in blue are the existing 1280 units, with the existing wells in those units shown in black. The red box is the proposed 2560 spacing unit, and the green dashed line is the proposed lease line well.
And Exhibit 6.
Exhibit 6 is the typical wellbore schematic for a Middle Bakken well.
And tell us about frac stages. How many are you talking about in this 2-mile
We're
lateral?
planning around 70 frac stages with about 150-foot stage spacing.
Okay. And then let's go to the next exhibit, Exhibit 7. Tell us what Exhibit 7 is.
Exhibit 7 is the reservoir properties, reserves, and economics page. You can see at the bottom that this well should give us a return on investment of 1.86 using 100% working interest and 80% NRI at the August strip.
And then finally, Exhibit 8, is that a gas capture affidavit that the commission typically requires in these sorts of matters?
Yes.
In your opinion, will the requested relief prevent waste, protect relative rights, and prevent the drilling of unnecessary wells?
Yes.
Mr. Examiner, I have no further questions. Offer the exhibits.
Exhibits are admitted. Any questions from the staff?
Emily, what was the price deck that you used on Exhibit 7?
It was August strip, so it was starting around $88 going down to about $66.
And gas?
Gas was starting at $269 and going up to $389 over the life.
Good, thank you.
That concludes our hearing for case number 30449. Case number 30152, temporary spacing to develop an oil and/or gas pool discovered by the White Rock Oil and Gas LLC, 21X-21F Grassy Butte Well, northeast northwest section 21, township 146 north, range 99 west, McKenzie County, North Dakota, define the field limits and enact such special field rules as may be necessary. This case has been continued to December hearings. That concludes our hearing for case number 30152. Case number 30513. Application of Continental Resources, Inc. for an order amending the applicable orders for the Dollar Joe Bakken Pool to allow the Clyde Hogue 2-13H well to be drilled and completed in such fashion that portions of the wellbore may be less than 370 feet from the western boundary of the spacing unit consisting of sections 13 and 24, Township 155 North, Range 97 West, Williams County, North Dakota, as an exception to the applicable well location requirements. All interested parties, please come forward.
Good morning, this is James Parrott with Beatty and Wozniak, representing Continental Resources, and I'm going to call in for our witnesses.
To enter the conference, press 1. Enter your conference ID, then press pound. Please record your first and last name after the tone, then press pound.
people that are listening to the streaming service hear us?
I think so.
Okay, they're calling it now. Good morning, everybody. Continental, can you hear us okay?
Yes, we can.
Excellent. So, do you mind telling me who we've got there?
We have everyone ready for all of our cases, beginning with 30513.
Okay. And Taylor, you're going to be doing the land testimony?
Yep, I sure am.
Okay, we are ready to begin.
Okay, I don't have the names.
So Taylor Titanic should be doing land. Oh, sorry. My microphone wasn't on. Taylor Titanic will be doing the land testimony. Taylor, is Chase going to be testifying?
So we have other witnesses here today.
Do you mind
Steve
telling us?
Fisher and Scott Davis.
Scott Davis.
So for case number 30513, it's me, Taylor Titanic for land, and then Steve Fisher for engineering, and then for geology we've got Mike Bauer, and then for the next case, which is 30514, we have Scott Davis for the land, Bray Browning for engineering, Mike Bauer again for geology.
Okay, Ms. Titanic,
Yes,
do you solemnly swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be true and correct to the best of your knowledge and belief?
I do.
Taylor, would you please state your name and business address for the record?
Yes, my name is Taylor Titanic, and the business address for Continental is 20 North Broadway, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, 73102.
And what is your position with Continental?
I am a Landman 3 working the Williston Basin.
And have you previously testified before this commission, matters pertaining to petroleum land management?
Yes, I have.
Move to offer the further testimony of this witness as that of an expert.
Motion granted.
Thank you. Taylor, in case number 30513, would you mind turning to Exhibit L1 and please explain this exhibit for us?
Yes. Exhibit L1 is our general locator map. It shows the field outlines in blue, and then you can see section 13 and 24 of 155 North, 97 West. That is shaded in yellow with a red outline, and that is where the Clyde Hague 2-13H well is located.
Thank you, and please explain Exhibit L2.
Exhibit L2 is a spacing plot. This shows the spacing unit that the Clyde Hague 2-13H was drilled on, and it consists of section 13 and 24 of 155 North, 97 West, Williams County, North Dakota. To the right of the plot, we also have a working interest breakdown for the spacing unit in question.
Thank you. No more questions for Ms. Titanic.
Any questions from the staff?
Taylor, were the owners in sections 18 and 19, excuse me, 14 and 23 notified of this application?
Taylor, perhaps I could answer that question, or
That's fine.
perhaps yes, they were notified. We notified all
Yeah.
the adjoining owners that are affected by the exception location request.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
I think we're all set.
Thanks, Taylor. So next we'll turn to Mike. Sorry.
Mr. Bauer,
Yes, sir.
do you solemnly swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be true and correct to the best of your knowledge and belief?
I do.
Mike, please state your name and address for the record.
Yes, my name is Mike Bauer. Our offices are located at 20 North Broadway, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, 73102.
Thank you. And what's your position with Continental?
I'm a senior operations geologist.
Thank you. And you have prepared some exhibits to present today?
Yes.
Your personal knowledge of the matter set forth in the exhibits?
Yes.
And you have not previously testified before the commission, is that correct?
That is correct.
Do you mind giving us a brief synopsis of your educational and professional background?
Education. Got my bachelor's of science from the University of Northern Kentucky. Graduated 2010. Then got in the industry, starting off with mud logging in northern Pennsylvania, 2011. It's geosteering for a third-party contractor there as well, and joined Continental Resources in June of 2014.
Thanks, Mike. Move to have the further testimony of this witness treated as that of an expert.
Motion granted.
Mike, could you please turn to Exhibit G1 and explain this for us?
Yes, G1 is a general location map for this location exception unit here. On the map exhibit are 50-foot contour intervals for the upper Bakken surface. And the red star in the adjacent unit, section 14, is our reference well there, the Groudale Walter H1. And this is on the northwest flank of the Neston Anticline with dip direction west by southwest for the most part there. Then Exhibit G2 is a image of that type log with gamma ray resistivity, bulk neutron density. This is for the Dollar Joe field, which covers 50 foot above the Bakken, and down through the Three Forks to the top of the Bird Bear Formation.
Thank you. No more questions for Mike.
Any questions from the staff?
Okay, our final witness is Steve Fisher.
Mr. Fisher,
Yes, sir.
do you solemnly swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be true and correct to the best of your knowledge and belief?
I do.
Steve, please state your name and business address for the record.
Yeah, my name is Steve Fisher, and I'm also at 20 North Broadway in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma.
And what's your position with Continental?
Area drilling manager.
And you've prepared or supervised preparation of some exhibits and have personal knowledge of the matters in these exhibits, correct?
Yes, sir, I do.
And you've previously testified before this commission?
Yes, sir, I have.
Move for the further testimony of this witness to be treated as that of an expert.
Motion granted.
All right, Steve, you've got a 2-page exhibit E1, right?
Yes, sir, I do.
Mind explaining that for us, please?
Yes, sir. So Exhibit E1, pages 1 and 2. 1 is the as-drilled directional plan in sections 13 and 24, the bird's eye view and the cross-sectional view. The second page of Exhibit E1 is just a zoomed-in view of where the 7-inch landing point is and a closer reference to the hard lines in that unit.
Thank you. And do you mind summarizing the steps that'll be taken by Continental to avoid incidents like this in the future on Exhibit E2?
Yes, sir. So moving forward, Continental will be requiring our location leadership and staff to send the permit as they have it to the engineer for sign off on any 7-inch or intermediate casing locations, which then at that point the engineer will sign off on that for the well.
Thank you. Anything further that you need to offer about this matter?
No, sir.
Thank you. No more questions.
Any questions from the staff?
Steve, so, I mean, can you expand a little bit on what happened, why they set the 7-inch where they did?
Yes, sir. When I think we have an echo, maybe not now. We still do.
Steve, we're not hearing that echo on our end, so if you don't mind, just try to
Okay.
push through it.
Yeah, I'll try to push through it. So what happened on the Clyde Howard 2 was that we drilled short of the hard line based on the fact that the directional plan for the well was incorrect. It showed a 250-foot hard line and not the 370-foot hard line that was in the order and on the permit. So reasoning behind that, we were in transition period. We do have checks and balances in place to check this. It's on the pre-planning side. On the execution side, we did not have as stringent checks and balances, and so now we obviously do based on the letter that we submitted, which is Exhibit E2. But in this one, simply we had the hard line wrong on the plans. Wasn't caught. We were in engineering transition. We had an engineer leaving when this pre-planning occurred on this well, and it wasn't caught.
Was this well drilled in the Middle Bakken?
Yes, it is. It is a Middle Bakken well.
And has it been completed?
It has.
And the well to the west in 14 and 23, is that well in the Middle Bakken also?
Let me check. I'm not sure if the well to the west is in the Middle Bakken or not. I don't have a visual on that.
And do you know if that well's been completed?
I do not.
Now, if you could follow up with a supplemental exhibit just indicating what formation that well, the offset well in 14 and 23 is, and maybe give the completion dates of both of the wells.
Absolutely, we can get that to you.
Okay, thank you.
Steve, this is Lynn Helms. You may have mentioned it, but is the liner cemented in this well?
Yes, it is.
And have you provided a cement bond log or a cementing report to indicate that this section of the well bore is properly cemented?
We have not.
So I think we'd request a supplement, at least with the cementing report for that liner. And then I don't see in your exhibits where your first take point is in terms of perforating and fracturing in that liner. Do you have that information available?
I do not have it available to me.
Well, we're going to need that too.
Yeah, Steve,
Yes, sir.
if you'd submit the uppermost perforations until the well got to a legal location, so however many those are.
Yes, I can do that.
Okay, thank you.
So James, we've got a few supplement requests. How long do you need the record kept open for?
Steve, do you think, given that we've got a holiday next week, that you could have all of those exhibits finished by December 1st, or will you need more time?
No, I can have this done by December 1st.
Okay.
The record will remain open till December 1st. And do you want to
Mr.
offer?
Hearing Officer, we've got an affidavit pertaining to the gas capture policy as Exhibit GM1, and Continental moves to admit exhibits L1, L2, G1, G2, E1, E2, and Exhibit GM1.
The exhibits are admitted. And that concludes our hearing for case number 30513. Case number 30514, application of Continental Resources, Inc. for an order for the Jim Creek Bakken Pool and/or Cabernet Bakken Pool, granting an approximate 2560-acre spacing unit comprising of sections 2, 3, 10, and 11, Township 144 North, Range 97 West, Dunn County, North Dakota, and authorizing one horizontal well in the proposed overlapping spacing unit. All interested parties, please come forward.
Good morning, this is James Parra with Beatty and Wozniak, representing Continental Resources, and we'll have three witnesses. Scott Davis, Bray Brownrigg for engineering, and Mike Bauer again for geology. We'll start with Scott Davis.
Mr. Davis,
Yes, sir.
do you solemnly swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be true and correct to the best of your knowledge and belief?
I do.
Scott, please state your name and address for the record.
Scott Davis, and our address is 20 North Broadway, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, 73102.
And what's your position with Continental?
Northern Region Landman, working the Williston Basin.
And you've prepared or supervised preparation of some exhibits to offer today, correct?
Yes, sir.
You've personal knowledge of the matter set forth in these exhibits?
Yes, sir.
And you have previously testified before the commission in matters pertaining to petroleum land management?
Yes, sir, I have.
Continental moves to have the further testimony of this witness treated as that of an expert.
Motion granted.
All right, Scott, please explain Exhibit L1 for us.
L1 is our general locator map. The existing fields are outlined in blue, and then the proposed spacing unit is outlined in red and then shaded in yellow.
Thank you, and please explain Exhibit L2.
L2 is a land plat for this proposed 2560 acre spacing unit, which is comprised of sections 2, 3, 10, and 11 of Township 144 North, Range 97 West, along with a consolidated working interest ownership summary for that proposed 2560 acre spacing unit.
Thank you. No more questions.
Any questions from the staff?
All right.
Mr. Bauer, just a reminder, you're still under oath.
Yes, sir.
Mike, please explain Exhibit G1 for us.
Yes, so the G1 is a general location map showing the spacing units. On that map as well is a upper Bakken surface contour at 50-foot interval. As you can see, sections 2 and 3 lie in the Jim Creek field. Sections 10 and 11 are in the Cabernet field. We have the type log identified by the red star, the Jaeger 1-2, the northeast corner of section 2 there. Flipping to Exhibit G2, shows that log with gamma ray resistivity, bulk, and neutron density. And both of those fields, the pool includes 50 feet above the Bakken, also down to the Bird Bear Formation. Pretty consistent thickness and other physical parameters.
Thank you. And please explain Exhibit G2.
Yes, that is the Jaeger 1-2 type log referring there, with the gamma ray resistivity, bulk, and neutron density. And on the left side is just highlighting the Cabernet and Jim Creek, 50 feet above the Bakken, down to the Bird Bear Formation for the Bakken pool.
Thank you. No more questions.
Any questions from the staff?
Okay.
And is it Mr. Browning?
Brown Rake.
Brownrigg.
Yep.
Mr. Brownrigg,
Yes,
do you solemnly swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be true and correct to the best of your knowledge and belief?
I do.
All right. Brady, mind explaining Exhibit E1 for us?
Yes, Exhibit E1 is the proposed directional well plot for this 2560 acre spacing unit. The green dashed line in the middle shows our proposed Middle Bakken lateral, and the solid green lines show existing Middle Bakken lateral. The yellow box with an X shows the 7-inch casing point, and the red diamond shows the bottom hole location, and the blue box shows the surface location pad for this well.
Thank you. And please explain Exhibit E2 for us.
Exhibit E2 is the well construction diagram for a typical Middle Bakken well. It shows casing information, cementing information, lateral TD estimated of around 21,000 feet measured depth, and it'll be a cemented lateral with around 45 plug-and perf stages.
Thank you. And finally, please explain Exhibit E3.
Exhibit E3 shows the reserves and economics for this single Middle Bakken well. The top table shows the reserves and forecast equations there with estimated ultimate recoveries for oil, gas, and barrels of oil equivalent. The middle table shows the gross economics at a flat $60 oil and $3 gas price. And the bottom table shows the reservoir parameters from Exhibit G2.
Thank you. No more questions.
Any questions from the staff?
Ray, this lease line well you're going to drill from the middle of the south line of section 11, is that a single well pad?
No, that will be a multi-well pad for sections 2 and 11 as we infill drill the rest of that unit.
But sections 2 and 11 are not a space unit, is that right?
11 and 32. I'm sorry, what?
Sections 2 and 11 are not a spacing unit?
Yes. Yes, sir. I'm sorry. There's a 3-mile spacing unit
Okay.
that we already have. So yes, I'm sorry, I misspoke. We're actually going to drill from that surface location pad, the blue box, south to north, and those will be 3-mile wells in that existing spacing unit.
Okay, thank you.
We also have Exhibit GM1, which is the gas capture affidavit, and Continental moves to admit Exhibits L1, L2, G1, G2, and E1 through E3 and GM1.
The exhibits are admitted. That concludes our hearing for case number 30514. Case number 30515, application of Continental Resources, Inc. for an order for the Jim Creek Bakken Pool, granting an approximate 3840 acre spacing unit comprising of sections 19, 20, 29, 30, 31, and 32, Township 145 North, Range 96 West, Dunn County, North Dakota, and authorizing one horizontal well in the proposed overlapping spacing unit. All interested parties, please come forward.
This is James Parra with Beatty and Wozniak, representing Continental Resources. We'll have three witnesses, Scott Davis for land, Mike Bauer for geology, and Bray Brownrigg for engineering. All witnesses have been sworn in, so with your permission, I'll start with Scott Davis. All right, Scott, please explain Exhibit L1 for us.
L1 is our general locator map. The existing fields are outlined in blue, and the proposed spacing unit is outlined in red and then shaded in yellow.
Thank you, and please explain Exhibit L2.
L2 is a land plat for this proposed 3840 acre spacing unit, comprised of sections 19, 20, 29, 30, 31, and 32 of Township 145 North, Range 96 West, along with a consolidated working interest ownership summary for that proposed 3840 acre spacing unit.
Thank you. No more questions for Mr. Davis.
Any questions from the staff? You can proceed.
Okay, we have Mike Bauer. Mike, please explain Exhibit G1.
Yes, Exhibit G1 is a general location map showing the proposed spacing unit. The contours are built on the upper Bakken surface, displayed in 50-foot intervals. The red star is an offset type log well, the Jaeger 1-2.
Thank you, and please explain Exhibit G2.
Yes, Exhibit G2 is the Jaeger 1-2 offset log, showing gamma ray resistivity, bulk density, neutron density. This log is in the Jim Creek field. And that pool is 50 feet above the Bakken, down to the Bird Bear Formation.
Thank you. No more questions.
Any questions from the staff?
Okay. Finally, we have Bray Brownrigg. Bray, please explain Exhibit E1 for us.
Exhibit E1 is the proposed directional well plot for this 3840 acre spacing unit. The dashed green line in the middle shows our proposed Middle Bakken lateral, the 3-mile well. The solid green lines show existing Middle Bakken wells. And the yellow box with an X shows the 7-inch casing point, and the red diamond shows bottom hole location. The blue box showing the surface location pad, which will be a 2-well pad for this well, drilling north to south, and then another well drilling south to north in an existing section line spacing unit.
Thank you, and please explain Exhibit E2, and then you can just move on to Exhibit E3.
Exhibit E2 shows the well construction diagram for our typical Middle Bakken well. This is for a 3-mile well showing casing, cementing, and plug and perf with 50 plug and perf stages. Exhibit E3 shows the reserves and economics. The top table showing the volumes expected, estimated ultimate recoveries. The middle table showing gross economics at a flat $60 oil and $3 gas pricing. And the bottom table shows the reservoir parameters from Exhibit G2.
Okay, thank you. No more questions.
Any questions from the staff?
Okay, Continental moves for admission of Exhibits L1, L2, G1, G2, E1 through E3, and then Exhibit GM1 also, which is the gas capture policy affidavit.
The exhibits are admitted. That concludes our case for case number 30515. Case number 30516, application of Continental Resources, Inc. for an order for the Murphy Creek Bakken Pool granting an approximate 2560 acre spacing unit comprising of sections 3, 4, 9, and 10, Township 145 North, Range 95 West, Dunn County, North Dakota, and authorizing one horizontal well in the proposed overlapping spacing unit. This case has been dismissed. That concludes our hearing for case number 30516. Case number 30517, application of Continental Resources, Inc. for an order for the Kildare Bakken Pool and/or Murphy Creek Bakken Pool, granting an approximate 2560 acre spacing unit comprising of sections 13, 14, 23, and 24, Township 145 North, Range 95 West, Dunn County, North Dakota, and authorizing 2 horizontal wells in the proposed overlapping spacing unit. This case has been dismissed. That concludes our hearing for case number 30517. Case number 30518, application of Continental Resources, Inc. for an order for the Murphy Creek Bakken Pool, granting an approximate 2560 acre spacing unit comprising of sections 14, 15, 22, and 23, Township 145 North, Range 95 West, Dunn County, North Dakota, and authorizing 2 horizontal wells in the proposed overlapping spacing unit. All interested parties, please come forward.
This is James Parrott with Beatty and Wozniak representing Continental Resources. 3 witnesses, Scott Davis, Dustin Ramber, and Bray Brownrigg. Scott's already been sworn in, so Scott, please explain exhibits L1 and L2 for us.
Exhibit L1 is our general locator map. The existing fields are outlined in blue, and the proposed spacing unit is outlined in red and then shaded in yellow. Exhibit L2 is our land plat for the proposed 2560 acre spacing unit, comprised of sections 14, 15, 22, and 23 of Township 145 North, Range 95 West, along with a consolidated working interest ownership summary for that proposed 2560 acre spacing unit.
Thank you. Our next witness is Dustin Ramber.
Mr. Ramber, well, I'm sorry, any questions from the staff? Okay, Mr. Ramber,
Yes, sir.
do you solemnly swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be true and correct to the best of your knowledge and belief?
I do.
Dustin, please state your name and business address for the record.
Dustin Ramber, R-A-M-B-U-R, Continental Resources, 20 North Broadway, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, 73102.
And what is your position with Continental?
Senior Operations Geologist.
And you've prepared or had some exhibits prepared under your direct supervision to offer today?
That is correct.
And you have not previously testified before the commission, correct?
Correct.
Please give us a brief synopsis of your educational and professional background.
Yes, sir. Graduated from the University of Montana in 2014, with a BS in interdisciplinary geoscience. As a field or well site geologist from 2014 to 2017. And then since then, I've been an ops geologist or a geological consultant. Started with Continental in April of 2023 as a senior operations geologist.
Thank you. Move to have the further testimony of this witness treated as that of an expert.
Motion granted.
Thank you. All right, Dustin, please explain exhibits G1 and G2 for us.
Yes, sir. G1 is our general locator map. It's showing our proposed spacing unit in the Murphy Creek. Highlighted in yellow and outlined in red is our proposed spacing unit. Displayed on the map, showing 50-foot contours built on the upper Bakken structure surface. And denoted by the red star is our type log that I'm using for this unit. It's the Johnson 43-27WNH. Exhibit G2 is showing the type log of the Johnson 43-27WNH, displaying in the interval that captures the Murphy Creek Bakken Pool, defined as 100 feet above the upper Bakken Shale to the top of the Bird Bear Formation. at the bottom of this exhibit showing the petrophysical parameters associated with the type walk.
Thank you. No more questions.
Any questions from the staff?
Thank you. Finally, we'll turn to Bray Brownrigg. Bray, you can just walk us through all three exhibits, please.
Yes. First off, I would like to say that we're requesting one well in this spacing unit. I believe we said 2 earlier, and I just wanted to clarify that before I get started. Exhibit E1 shows the proposed directional well plot of this 2560 acre spacing unit, with the dashed green line showing a proposed Middle Bakken lateral. The solid green and solid pink lines show existing laterals. And then the yellow box shows the 7-inch casing point, red diamond shows the bottom hole location, and the blue box shows the surface location pad that this well is intended to be drilled from, which will also drill the other well in the existing spacing unit covering sections 14 and 23. Exhibit E2 shows the well construction diagram for the typical Middle Bakken well. It's a 2-mile well diagram showing casing, cementing, and measured depth estimates, along with cemented lateral with an estimated 45 plug and perf stages. Exhibit E3 shows the reserves and economics for this single well. The top table showing the forecast parameters and estimated ultimate recovery. The middle box showing the gross economics at a flat $60 oil and $3 gas price. And the bottom table shows the reservoir parameters from Exhibit G2.
Thank you. No more questions.
Any questions from the staff?
Continental moves for admission of exhibits L1, L2, G1, G2, E1 through E3, and exhibit GM1, which is the gas capture policy affidavit.
The exhibits are admitted. That concludes our hearing for case number 30518. Case number 30519, application of Continental Resources, Inc. for an order for the Murphy Creek Bakken Pool granting an approximate 2560 acre space unit comprising of sections 15, 16, 21, and 22, Township 145 North, Range 95 West, Dunn County, North Dakota, and authorizing one horizontal well in the proposed overlapping space unit. All interested parties, please come forward.
This is James Parrott with Beatty and Wozniak, representing Continental Resources. We'll have three witnesses: Scott Davis for land, Carl Koo for geology, and Bray Brownrigg for engineering. Scott's already been sworn in, so we'll start with him. Scott, please explain exhibits L1 and L2 for us.
Yes, Exhibit L1 is our general locator map. The existing fields are outlined in blue, and the proposed spacing unit is outlined in red and then shaded in yellow. L2 is a land plat for a proposed 2560 acre spacing unit, which is comprised of sections 15, 16, 21, and 22 of Township 145 North, Range 95 West, along with a consolidated working interest ownership summary for that proposed 2560 acre spacing unit.
Thank you. No more questions.
Any questions from the staff?
Scott, does Continental have any kind of agreement with Burlington in this area?
Yes, sir, we do.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, our next witness is Carl Koo.
Mr. Koo,
Yes, sir.
do you solemnly swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be true and correct to the best of your knowledge and belief?
Yes, I do.
Carl, please state your name and business address for the record and spell your last name, please.
Yes, my name is Carl Koo, employed by Continental Resources. Business address is 20 North Broadway Avenue, Oklahoma City.
And your last name is C-O-O?
Yes.
Thank you. And what is your position with Continental?
I'm a operations geology supervisor.
Thank you. And you have not previously testified before the commission, is that correct?
I have previously testified.
Oh, you have previously testified.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, my misunderstanding. And you've prepared or supervised the preparation of exhibits to offer today?
Yes.
And you have personal knowledge of the matter set forth in these exhibits?
Yes.
Move to treat the further testimony of this witness as that of an expert.
Motion granted.
Carl, please explain exhibits G1 and G2 for us.
Exhibit G1, this is our general locator map showing our proposed spacing units. It's highlighted in yellow and outlined in red. On this map is a 50-foot contour interval representing the depth of the upper Bakken surface. Also on this map we have red star, which is the location of our type log, which is the Johnson 43-27 WNH. This is the type log that is representative of the rock character within the spacing units. And then Exhibit G2, this is the type log that was denoted on the map from Exhibit G1. It displays the Bakken Pool in the Murphy Creek field, which is from 100 feet above the upper Bakken shale through the Bakken and to the base of Three Forks. Reservoir parameters is the reservoir parameters associated with this type log is on the bottom of this page.
Thank you. No more questions.
Any questions from the staff?
Okay, our last witness is Bray Brownrigg. Bray, please explain exhibits L1 through L3.
Yeah, so Exhibit E1 is the proposed directional well plot for this 2560 acre spacing unit. The green dashed line shows our proposed middle Bakken lateral, and the solid green line and solid pink line show existing wells in these sections. The yellow box shows the 7-inch casing point, the red diamond shows the bottom hole location, and the blue box shows several surface location pads. The one in the middle is the one that we will develop this well from. And this middle pad will also drill the well for the spacing unit over sections 15 and 22. Exhibit E2 shows the well construction diagram for the typical middle Bakken well, showing casing and cementing and measured depth information. This will be a cemented lateral with around 45 plug and perf stages. Exhibit E3 shows the reserves and economics for this well. The top table showing the forecast parameters and estimated ultimate recovery. The middle table showing gross economics, and the bottom table showing the reservoir parameters from Exhibit G2.
Thank you. No more questions. And Bray, thanks for clarifying that those were exhibits E1, E2, and E3, not L1 through L3.
Any questions from the staff?
Bray, the pad you're gonna drill this well from is in the, near the center, the north line of section 15?
It is the one next to the red dot, the surface hole location. Red dot, there's an existing Three Forks 1 lateral in the northwest corner of section 15. It's that nearest blue square is where we will drill this well from.
Okay, thank you.
Continental moves for admission of exhibits L1, L2, G1, G2, E1 through E3, and the gas capture policy affidavit, which is exhibit GM1.
The exhibits are admitted. That concludes our case for case number 30519.
Thank you very much.
Case number 30446, application of PetroShale US, Inc. for an order amending the field rules for the Mandaree, Bakken Pool, Dunn County, North Dakota, so as to create and establish an overlapping 1280-acre spacing unit comprised of sections 10 and 11, Township 149 North, Range 93 West, authorizing the drilling of a horizontal well on or near the section line between existing spacing units
Continental Resources?
Has left the conference.
said
You are
proposed-
the only person in the conference.
overlapping 1280-acre spacing unit. This matter has been continued to the January hearings. That concludes our hearing for case number 30446. Case number 30447, application of PetroShale US, Inc. for an order amending the field rules for the Eagle Nest Bakken Pool, Dunn County, North Dakota, so as to create and establish an overlapping 640-acre spacing unit comprised of the west half of Section 4 and the east half of Section 5, Township 148 North, Range 94 West, authorizing the drilling of a horizontal well on or near the section line between existing spacing units of said proposed overlapping 640-acre spacing unit. This matter has been continued into the January hearings. That concludes our hearing for case number 30447. Case number 30448, application of PetroShale US, Inc. for an order amending the field rules for the Croft Bakken Pool and/or Bear Den Bakken Pool, McKenzie County, North Dakota, so as to create and establish 3 overlapping 2560-acre spacing units comprised of sections 11, 12, 13, and 14, sections 13, 14, 23, and 24, Township 149 North, Range 96 West, and sections 24 and 25, Township 149 North, Range 96 West, and sections 19 and 30, Township 149 North, Range 95 West, authorizing the drilling of a horizontal well on or near the section line between existing spacing units of each proposed overlapping 2560-acre spacing unit. This matter has been continued until our January hearings. That concludes our hearing for case number 30448. Case number 30460, in the matter of a hearing called on a motion of the commission to consider the confiscation of all production-related equipment and saleable oil at the Carpentier 1-16 well northeast section 16, Township 163 North, Range 91 West, Portalfield, Burke County, North Dakota, operated by WW Oilfield Services or any working interest owner pursuant to North Dakota Century Code sections 380804 and 380804.9. All interested parties, please come forward.
Mr. Examiner, the commission did request to have the well file be part of this record and also a complaint that was filed by the commission for case number 29835.
Motion granted. I'll note for the record that no interested parties have appeared. That concludes our hearing for case number 30460. That concludes our hearings for the day. We are now off the record.